Thinking of buying your first home? How much money do you really need? Coming up. Hi, this is Kai with the Kai Wong team, helping you better understand everything you need to know about New York City real estate. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Scott Nadler from Loan Depot. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks a lot for having me.
Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a mortgage loan originator, and I've been in the business now for close to a decade. I help people who are looking to buy a home. I help them with the financing for that home, and I also help people who currently have a loan on their home and need to restructure it.
So talking about helping first-time home buyers buy a home, right?
Yeah.
A question that always comes up is, do I have enough money? So how much money do they really need to buy the property?
So there are three buckets that we focus on, and that is the down payments, the first bucket. Second bucket is closing costs, and the third bucket is the reserves, meaning how much money they have in the bank after they've made the down payment and after they paid the closing costs.
So for the bucket number one you mentioned, down payment. So how much down payment do they need for buying a property?
It does vary from property to property and different price points, but that's really the first step, kind of understanding the type of property that they're looking to buy and what's required. Most co-ops will require a 20% down payment. So if they're looking at a property that's $1 million, that's a $200,000 down payment right there that would be required.
And that's generally a minimum for co-ops. There's some that's 25, 30, 40, 50% too.
Absolutely.
Okay, and what about condo?
For a condo, it does vary as well, but for the majority of condos, they don't have a restriction for how much money you have to put down. So some condos you can put down 10%, some you can put down 5%. So it really depends on the property itself.
With most sellers, when I'm representing a buyer, they want to see that the buyer puts down at least 20%. It's been kind of the underlining rule of thumb, because if it's under 20%, they're kind of concerned that, oh, will they actually be able to qualify for the loan? Do you see that as well?
Absolutely. The majority of our clients, they are putting down at least 20%. We have been seeing a trend recently of clients putting down 10%. Again, this is on condos or single-family homes or multifamily homes, specifically with properties that need some work. So instead of putting down the full 20%, maybe they save 10% and they keep that money to improve the home a little bit. Maybe they want to redo the bathrooms, redo the floors, so they won't put down as much money for the home when they do go to purchase.
So what's the second bucket?
Closing costs. And again, this will vary based on the different properties that they're looking at. But closing costs is really that second bucket. So if they're looking at a co-op, any co-op under $1 million, closing costs all in are going to be right around $4,000. If it's over $1 million, it would still be the $4,000 plus mansion tax, which is 1% of the purchase price. So that could be for a condo, for a co-op, for a single family home, anything in the state of New York. For a condo, by and large, it's 3% of the purchase price. And I can kind of break that down for you a little bit. There are kind of three areas that you need to focus on when it comes to a condo. You're looking at number one, mansion tax. Number two is mortgage recording tax, which is going to be about 1.8 to 1.9% of the amount that you borrow. So it's that percentage based on your loan amount. And the third big ticket item is the title insurance. So a title insurance will be ordered by the borrower's attorney, and that can range depending upon their purchase price and the amount that they're borrowing, somewhere between $4,000 to $6,000 to $7,000. And title insurance is almost the opposite of health insurance. So when someone gets health insurance, it covers them from the day that they get it going forward in case something were to happen to them. Title insurance, again, is kind of the opposite. So title insurance covers them from the day that they close on the purchase, going backwards, 30 to 40 years. So in case there are any liens or judgments against that property, that client is exempt.
A lot of people, they don't understand the title insurance, and it's so important because even though your title company is going to do the research, make sure everything's good, sometimes there might be something hidden, so you definitely want to be protected.
And technically, it is optional. They don't have to purchase it. I've never seen a client not purchase it. It is in their best interest to have title insurance.
It's really just buying that peace of mind.
Absolutely.
So what's the third bucket?
The reserves, which means after they've made the down payment, after they paid the closing costs, what's left? So a bank wants to make sure that you have a little bit of a cushion. By and large, banks want to make sure that you have somewhere between 3 months to 12 months of reserves. What that means is your mortgage payment plus taxes, insurance, maybe the maintenance, all that whole number together, whatever that monthly number is, they want to see 3 times that or 12 times that number.
And for co-ops?
Co-ops are much stricter than a bank. Typically, a co-op will want to see that you have 24 months of reserves in the bank after closing. So if that person's monthly payment with their mortgage plus the maintenance is $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month times 24 months is $120,000. So after the down payment, after the closing costs, they want to make sure that that client has $120,000 in the bank after closing.
Yeah, I've even seen some buildings where they require 36 months, and it's a big chunk of money, especially when you're putting into consideration closing costs, the down payments, and then everything else, all the fees involved. So it's important to really know the numbers.
And the majority of apartments in Manhattan are co-ops.
Yes.
So it's very important especially for a first-time home buyer to understand what the costs are up front before they start looking.
A lot of people, they go in, look at properties, and the worst thing is finding something you love, but you can't afford it.
The deals that go the smoothest are the ones for the clients who started this process very early. They put themselves in a position to buy, and the process goes relatively smooth.
That's also why I always say to talk to the lender first, make sure they understand what financing options make most sense for them, and then we go from there.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed the information, and it's really helpful. You know, a lot of the first-time home buyers, they don't get this stuff.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Thank you guys for watching the video. If you're new here, consider subscribing. On this channel, we share with you buying and selling tips, neighborhood guides, and market updates. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.